Hey everybody, and welcome to another hungover episode of Elden Dogs. I am, of course, your good friend, fearless leader, Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. I got ears for my armor, I got eyes on my helmet. I know everything. I might be friends with dung beetles, and honestly, I have a lot of inner conflict going into this last episode. And luckily, though, somebody else survived Far Missoula, actually, after blowing himself up. I think he got put back together.
Oh, I'm still in pieces. I feel like Alexander today. I'm Alexander Iron Fist, and I'm broken. It's rough. It's rough out here for Char.
After that touching tribute, just to know you're still around a little bit makes me happy.
Mostly here in spirit.
And many spirits. You're full of spirit.
Yeah, I'm like America. I'm a melting pot.
America or America?
America.
Yes.
The name America, the decision to pick America as a name, always just like, it just makes me think of South Park.
America.
You
know, the more research you do into Elden Ring, the more you understand that there is just fathomless amounts of thoughts that go into naming conventions. I just prepared an outline for one of our next episodes about like biographies for Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin, and to hear about Miyazaki's approach to game design. He originally called it total control, and I was like, yep, I get it. He's like, I just need to make sure I approve every statue, every font, every window, every enemy, boss. It's a game that lives up to the vision in his head. And we're here today near the end of the regular journey. There's definitely going to be some more episodes, but like we're in the
home stretch for sure.
The Ashen Capital.
Yeah.
We're part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network. Check out all those other amazing shows. We're going to be drinking a special beer for this final episode. This is a collaboration between Eagle Park and 608 Brewing Company. Bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout with coconut and vanilla.
I think I've had this one.
Does it have a name? No. It's just beer. This was part of their series, which they did for one of their Joint Beer Fest. And it's got a porcupine and a recliner, which is how good I feel getting to the end of the game here.
He does look very happy on the can.
Yeah.
There's a certain happiness you get from just getting your ass kicked probably a couple thousand times throughout the course of a video game.
There are stats that I wish games just released that were available. Elden Ring might have some stats on the back end that I haven't looked into those menus in a while. But when I finally finished AC Odyssey and it said, you killed 5,300 and some people, and I said, wow, I am not a good person. That is Genghis Khan levels of insanity.
Kids would be telling horror stories about you. Like, you don't go into the woods. Cassandra's out there.
Eagle bearers out there. Yeah. So we have reclaimed the Rune of Death. We've unleashed it upon the world. We put Malekith, put him down, put a pillow over his head. He was a good boy, but it had to happen.
Yeah.
Because we need to get into that tree. We had to burn down that door, and the only way to burn that door was to unleash death back onto the world. The Erdtree is now burning.
Yay!
Yeah.
Get out the marshmallows. Let's make some s'mores, roast some weenies.
It is. The wildfire is spreading. Today, I put on the old Elden Ring, and I just kind of I transported around all the different spots in the map just to see what the Erdtree burning looks like from far away. You can see it everywhere. I went all the way down to the Weeping Peninsula, over to Far Missoula, up to the tops of the giants. It was just cool to see. It's a big fire. It's a big tree, and it's a big fire.
I think it's what they want Burning Man to be every year.
Dude, if it was half that cool.
That's what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
They want that. The first time that I saw it was actually a little bit of a spoiler for me because it was when I came over here once and you were showing me the candelabra whip.
Yep.
And I was like, wait, why does your sky look different?
Why is the Roundtable hold red?
Yeah, what's that?
Yes, so the Roundtable hold is burning as well. Now, the Roundtable hold, this is one of those things where it could be a number of items. Some people think it's physically inside the Erdtree. I think it's just intrinsically linked, a spirit realm attached to the Erdtree. Doesn't matter, because there are no answers to some of these things. There are 10 bullet points of things that it could maybe be, but one of the things that both Miyazaki and Martin like to do is you have to bring something to the story, and it's your story.
Yeah, definitely open for interpretation. George R. R. Martin's really good at that.
Yeah.
But the reason he's so good at it is because he packs the world with so much, oftentimes biased history told in one way or another, to where you feel like you know the world just as well as the characters know the world. Or eventually you get to the point where you do. So you can start inferring things like you're the absolute authority on them.
Yeah, I feel that way about A Song of Ice and Fire more than 95% of people. Then there's that, like, the upper echelon of mega studious nerds where I'm just like really studious nerd.
The top 3 or 4 of them should just get together and write Winds of Winter, because they already probably know what's going to happen. I mean, the show's over.
Yeah, I think Martin's definitely changing some things around for that. But there are repercussions to burning the Erdtree. The Roundtable, like we said, is on fire. Enya, our sweet little old lady crone who has been talking to the fingers for us, she's just very dead. Yeah. Turns out if you're like 1,000 years old, that's not an official number, but she's old. And she was just holding on because death wouldn't come for her. And as soon as death was like kind of around, she just fucking, I'm surprised she didn't just blow dust into the wind.
She just like go full like in Infinity War. Like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Mr. Finger.
I don't feel so good.
Yeah, so she's gone. Luckily, you can still exchange things there and buy stuff from her dead body. It's kind of like an honor system, like Halloween. It's like take one piece of candy. And
I thought of Clerks, where he just has the pile of the money on the counter.
Yeah, it's essentially like that. I just, leave a penny, take a penny.
Oh, that's funny.
Our friend Hugh, though, the misbegotten blacksmith, we're going to talk a little bit about him. He's been a prisoner until such time as he produces a weapon capable of slaying a god. That was a mission given to him by Marika. He is a caring soul with terrible anguish, and yep, he's unfortunately stuck in the Roundtable hold. At least he was, and him and Roderica, however you want to say it, they've become friends. She looks up to him kind of like a father figure at this point, and he is terrified of Marika. One of the things he says in some like rare dialogue is, "Smithing helps me forget the sheer terror of her." I don't know what she was up to, but
can't be good.
No, she instilled fear in him because she needed a weapon capable of slaying a god. This is another point where it makes me want to believe Marika is most definitely involved somehow in this plan. I think that she wants the greater will gone. And this is just one of many parts of like a long, confusing thing that I think she was involved in the planning. She might have had some things go wrong, but you can catch him in prayer. "Your divinity, have mercy and grant me forgiveness. The road is yet long. A god is not easily felled." His chains will be shattered after the tree is burning, but he says, "I'm just going to stay here and forge weapons until the very end." He has lost his mind after Malekith's dead. I'm not sure what reason is behind that, but he just wants to keep smithing. And Roderica, this young noblewoman from outside the lands between, she sailed to Limgrave with a contingent of soldiers who all were killed by Godric because they wanted to be assimilated.
Yeah.
My brother in Christ.
I forget how weak she starts the game. Like when you find her in the shack just outside of the castle, and she's just like, "Oh no, all my people are dead, and I'm a loser.
I'm not brave enough to be eaten." It's like, well, I think it's better not to.
I mean, I'm a pretty brave guy. I'm running around out here. I died like 18 times so far at this point in the game, and like getting eaten sounds bad.
Yeah.
I'll level with you.
If my arm became Godric's butt scratcher, I would be pretty upset.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Or the wiper. I was one of his wipers. You don't want that.
No.
You don't see a lot of toilets in the lands between. Unrelated, but...
You just dig a hole.
Yeah. Or just go wherever. You do find gold-tinged excrement everywhere.
That is true.
Yeah. Great items. So she makes the decision to stay with Hugh. She wants him to leave, but we should respect his wishes. Maybe not. Maybe if Grandpa has lost his mind and he wants to stay in a burning house, you kind of just make it happen.
Or she's just like, I'm going to hang around here until I can convince him to leave. For now, we're going to let him think it's his idea.
Yeah. We're going to have to manipulate him in a little way.
Just a little bit of gaslighting and a little bit of manipulation, and we'll be frolicking through the Weeping Peninsula in no time.
I haven't had to deal with an elderly person suffering through dementia outside of American politics. Ayo.
Hey.
The Capitol's burning. And I'm not talking about America. The Ashen Capital. So the Erdtree, it's going pretty hard. There's just ash all over. And Leyndell is now mostly covered. What was your first thoughts when you were shot back to the Ashen Capital?
I felt a lot like Frodo at the end of Return of the King.
You came back.
It's over. Just pure relief and excitement. That's probably my first thought.
Yes. Before you defeat Malekith and stuff, you might want to do a run through the capital to get a few items. There are things you can miss permanently. There's a seal. There's a couple talisman, a legendary armament. So you might want to grab those. But the royal capital has been buried in ash from the burning Erdtree.
That capital just can't catch a break.
No, it's had a rough time.
Yeah.
Morgoth did what he could, but when you can't show your face, it's hard to lead.
That's true.
Tyrion kind of had to hide himself a little bit too. There's some great rulers in ancient Game of Thrones time. After the House of the Dragon, there's one of the characters in there becomes kind of a extremely disfigured leader, and they do an amazing job, but kids are terrified of him. Bad things happen to everybody in all of these things in this game and those books, but you still have access to the subterranean shunning grounds, but most other places within the capital turn to dust. There's barely even any enemies in the capital now. It's mostly just a barren wasteland, the desolation of the Tarnished.
That's a Peter Jackson movie right there.
Yeah, they're 3 films. They're making an animated Lord of the Rings film now, which is weird. About the Rohirrim.
No shit. Yeah. I heard they're trying to remake Lord of the Rings.
They can fuck off.
And I sometimes watch the extended versions when I'm going to bed, just for something on in the background.
Yeah.
So I've seen them probably a million times at this point. Fantastic movie still. There's no need to remake them. Stop it.
I moved to New Zealand about it for a while.
That's true.
Yeah. I've only watched, I think, the non-extended versions once or twice, and I was thinking the other day, I want to watch those again.
It doesn't feel right.
It'd be interesting to see a different version, though.
It's like a fever dream. It's over so fast.
So one of the things you can do is, so you're kind of trapped in this little area of the capital, but if you use a Site of Grace, no, you didn't do this, and go to the Forbidden Lands and backtrack towards the capital, you can get on the other side of the wall, which there's no way to get between them, but if you come the other way, you can get on the other side of the wall. And you do this to go get a talisman. Now, unfortunately, there are 3 ulcerated tree spirits there.
Light work.
It's fuck you hard. You came all the way here just to get slapped many times. There is a talisman, though. I think it's one of the legendary ones. It's the Erdtree favor +2. And yeah, you'll probably want to go grab that. But yes, like I said, 3 ulcerated tree spirits.
That's way too many ulcerated tree spirits. 1 is too many.
I guess these spirits are all pretty agitated from the burning Erdtree.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of like they had one job.
There is not a ton to do in the Ashen Capital. You can, as far as items, there's the somber ancient dragon smithing stone. There's 1 valiant gargoyle that's just pissed off and walking around. You can defeat him, and then he's guarding it. It's easier to defeat him, but you can run into Brother Corrin. You remember Brother Corrin? He wears a wheel for a necklace, and he's a little too into religion.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because he did, and
it's like the more you learn about Aaron Rodgers, you're like, maybe he wasn't the coolest guy I've ever known.
Yeah.
And Brett Favre, it's like, wow, you're kind of a shithead.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, it's Packers game day for those.
I'm wearing a Nick Barnett jersey right now. I really look forward to potentially hating Justin Love in like 14 years.
See, you don't even remember his name.
Jordan Love.
You said Justin Love.
Did I really?
Yep. You're already doing the Brent Favre to him.
Oh, God.
We'll never forget you, Brent. Brother Corrin is, of course, a cleric of the Golden Order. He was exiled for his prophecies, but he refused to recant them. So there were a number of prophets that foresaw the burning of the Erdtree, and that's like if you were a Catholic priest or a priest, and you said, like, I have a vision that the
Vatican.
The Vatican is going to burn. They're like, well, fuck you then. But that's what happened to Corrin, and prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith. When this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. So Corrin was banished for a time before the Tarnish came back. While teaching incantations and wanting to explore the secrets of the Golden Order, he is a big fan of Goldmask. He is trying to, his main goal is meet Goldmask to validate his beliefs.
Which, you're just really setting yourself up for failure at that point, because if your views don't align with Goldface after you meet him, then you're just disappointed.
I love your words today. Goldface.
Goldface. Yeah.
It's a Bond villain.
It's actually a villain from Michael Scott's wonderful film Threat Level Midnight, played by Jim Halpert.
That is the Threat Level Midnight Dogs. That'll be a separate series.
Yes.
Yep. It's only going to have to be one episode, but we can delve in.
Yeah, we can rank that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
He frantically needs to record his wisdom, the movement of Goldmask's finger. He is obsessed. This is his life's calling. And while he even says this, the Golden Order has bestowed me, talentless as I am just supposed to record better people than me. Sad. His faith, though, is shattered when Goldmask, who is pretty gnarly, he is a good practicer of the greater will of the Golden Order, partially because dude likes to run around naked.
Yeah.
Crazy mask. Those are not negatives or positives, in my opinion. And naked's cool, but he doesn't dress himself fancy. Some religious leaders want to like get super dolled up and dress nice, but he is trying to figure out what happened, what is going on with Marika. There's a secret that he's been just like looking at the tree. And Goldmask, he just T-poses out there for a long time.
Yeah. Could you imagine how long he's been standing there, and then all of a sudden you light that bitch up, and he's just like, oh, shit. It changed.
Yeah. Did you ever heard about that one priest who kept his arm up for like so long?
Yeah, in like India. That? I think
maybe Dylan talked about that one.
Yeah, I think when we brought up Goldmask the first time, one of us made that comment.
His faith, though, is shattered when Goldmask realizes that Radagon and Marika are the same being. All because one statue maker made a hidden statue that when you can do a certain incantation, the statue goes, woo.
It does what?
It's just, it's how magic works. And yeah, Corrin, I've finally come to understand the master was nothing more than a madman. It's like, okay, just take a breath, take a deep breath and just hang out for a second. Enchanted by a vain and ruinous delusion, he rejected the perfection of the Golden Order, seeking to supplant our glorious faith with his own. Sadly, every single thing in the world is not as good, pretty much, as people want to believe.
Yeah.
It's called growing up when you realize that.
Yeah. Life doesn't give you a handout. It's hard. Get over it.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah. Quit complaining.
Sometimes the woman you idolize might be part man, and that's cool. But it's if you're not cool with that, it's on you.
Yeah, then you got some stuff you got to figure out.
So there is location 1. You can find him near the base of the giant spiral spear. This changes. If you gave him the tonic of forgetfulness, which you were supposed to give to Lizard Girl. No, not Lizard Girl, to Nefeli Lou.
Is that what that thing is?
You can give it to Nefeli Lou I'll get confused by all this. The tonic of forgetfulness, that might have been for Raya. There's a lot of moving parts of this game.
I can't remember if that's the one that I gave to Gideon.
Yeah. The tonic of forgetfulness, you can give it to Corrin up in the mountaintops of the giants, and then he will remain at the bridge south of the Stargazer ruins up there. If you give it to him, and he'll just be like happy and forget everything.
Well, blessed sounds nice.
Well, blessed are those that forget eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. I nailed that quote.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fucking wow.
Exhaust Corrin's dialogue, and you can get his bell bearing and his flail. Get his robe, and it says, even after exile, he refused to recant his prophecies, and for this, he was blessed with the guidance of grace. The cartwheel draped on his neck served as a reminder that true guidance awaits those with iron wills, those with unwavering faith.
In terms of endings, he kind of has a good one.
You think so?
Yeah, compared to like how other characters go. Like I killed Margit twice in canon.
Well,
once has both of his names. That's a bad ending for a character.
I think those might be little projections of Margit or Morgott.
Don't tell me there's another one.
Well, we already fought them. Well, you can fight two before Leyndell on the way. One at Stormvale and one in the wild.
One in the wild?
Yeah, there's a peasant dude that turns into him.
That's right.
Real tricksy. If you you can manage to burn the Erdtree before ever reaching the Altus Plateau, meaning Brother Corrin never leaves the Roundtable hold.
Damn.
It's tough. You have to get 2 great runes, and you have to go through the underground to Godwyn, and then they'll shoot you into Leyndell. So you can skip going anywhere outside in the Altus Plateau.
That's wild.
It's odd, but it's possible that Corrin actually just never leaves. And then he will disappear from the Roundtable hold after it erupts into flame. But he is, upset at this point. You can either kill him, which I do. I just put him out of his misery. I mean, maybe it's better that he goes out. Either way, if you let him go, you just come back and his robe is just there. So he just all of a sudden he's like, takes all his clothes off and runs away, which I like that ending. I guess that is a good ending.
And then like he spends enough time in the wild, he just becomes Goldmask.
Maybe
running around naked crazy.
It's a time travel loop.
Yeah. It's like Looper.
I've never seen it.
He's played by Bruce Willis.
I've heard it's pretty good. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt has weird contacts.
Yes. They tried to like do some technology, some CG to make him look more like Brad Pitt when it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it looks uncanny valley.
I know, and they should have made him look like Bruce Willis and not Brad Pitt for the logic of the film.
Did I say Brad Pitt? Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. Damn.
We had a good weekend.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, Goldmask is, of course, a staunch Golden Order fundamentalist, critical of the hunters of those who live in death, lamenting that they are representing the church and also just being raging dickheads about killing things. He realized Radagon is Marika, Finkel is Einhorn. That's all I think about when I think of that. He will be on the hill next to the Colosseum. He had come to the revelation that the imperfection of the Golden Order and the instability of ideology was due to the fickleness of the gods. He's like, I think religion's pretty tight, but these gods are whack.
Gods are whack.
To put that into the parlance of our times. Yes.
These gods aren't very cash money, dude.
I believe religion is cool, but man, gods can be lame.
Yeah, there you go. Etch that into stone.
Instead, he went, just pointed he's actually just flicking off the Erdtree instead of pointing at it at this point. But if you come back, sitting on his body will be the mending rune of perfect order, a rune of transcendental ideology, which will attempt to perfect the Golden Order. This is another one of the endings. You can also get Goldmask set. The Radiant Goldmask, which is his dope mask. It's a striking design, representing both the brilliant inspiration that once shone upon him and the vision of a ring that he will surely find at the end of his pursuit. Rags, bracelets, and waist wrap barely cover the body, and I said if you wanted to do a party boy character in the game, if you made it a little Chris Pontius, you're going to want this because it is the most exposed body option, I believe.
No shit.
So yeah, if you want to go as party boy, you got to be a staunch religious person.
Yeah, until you hit New Game Plus, and then you can be Chris Pontius.
Yeah, which I'm in. Now, we're going to head up the stairs because there's really not much else you can do. You can go to the Coliseum, which is open at this point for multiplayer. I played a little bit today to get ready for our multiplayer episode. I'm not as good at fighting real people.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
Well, they're unpredictable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And they can have anything. They have the entire, every weapon, every incantation, every armor set they want, weird builds.
Everybody just uses a candelabra whip.
No one would. I guess, I don't know, maybe. Have you seen it, folks? Tell us, because we're going to do a multiplayer episode and we'll talk about it. But we're going to go up some stairs here and find probably the sexiest, coolest character in the game, me, Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. What was your thoughts when you ran into Gideon up here?
Please don't make me have to fight this motherfucker.
He's not that tough.
He gave me a lot of trouble because as a spell sword, I can't cast my spells fast enough to interrupt his spells, and I'm just not that good at dodging, I guess.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I got smoked.
At this point, dodging has become very second nature to me.
I thought I was good. Maybe I was just having an off night.
An Ofnir.
Ofnir, there you go.
Gideon Ofnir, the leader of the Roundtable, holds foster parent to Nefeli Lu, only for his own nefarious purposes, pretty much. He accumulates information on the Shard Bearers, employing a network of spies. He is working, he's the Tarnished. They want to restore the Elden Ring the Roundtable hold. And I don't know, they haven't gotten a single great rune before, it appears.
And then you come through and you're fucking picking them up.
He talks
Left
match.
and right.
He's like, don't even talk to me until you get a great rune. It's like, no one else here has a great rune, and you seem really nice to them, and you don't even know me.
Yeah.
My name is Brad, and I'm cool sometimes.
Yeah, so why are you being a dick, man?
You don't even know me.
Yeah.
I like Star Wars. Do you like Star Wars? And he says, I prefer Star Trek. I'm like, all right, this might not work.
See, I just went back, and every time I talked to him, I wore a different band t-shirt in hopes that he'd be like, you like the Flaming Lips too?
All right, he can stay.
All right,
you're
cool.
You're into baby metal.
Yeah.
That was the one that broke.
That was the baby metal.
Yeah. Gideon Ofnir. Ofnir is one of Odin's many names.
Oh, shit, yeah. I didn't even put that together.
And Odin has Raven spies. Gideon has a spy network. He has a lot of people out there collecting information. He's like Varys, but super capable, physically capable.
Yeah.
He's a master of whispers. He knows everything that's going on. I put Xylotroops Gideon is a beetle. And I put that, maybe that's why Gideon is one of his names, his first name, but the beetles are, some people speculate, are associated with him. They're out there carrying information and arts and stuff and items, and they're rolling them around, and maybe they are a way of gathering information. Once you acquire the first great rune, he will share more information with you. Nefeli Lu, he does have a fondness for her, but it can't get past his...
That's his adopted daughter, right?
Yep.
Not biological.
Not biological. Nefeli Lu is descended from Horalu.
I thought about that when I found out Horalu's name. But, I mean, with George R. R. Martin and names, you just can't be too sure.
You can't be too sure. She is definitely like from the Wildlands where Horalu was from. And the fact that she is considered a worthy heir for Stormvale. I mean, even Kenneth Hyde's like, I think she's pretty cool. We're like, no one asked, dude, but we agree.
Also, you still you owe me for the castle, man. Like, I never got paid for that.
I've never been knighted by you.
Yeah.
Well, that was not in the game for a long time. The quest line froze, and Kenneth would just stay down there at his goblin castle, demi-human castle, and it's around this time. I'm going to get the timing wrong, but it's either during Farmazula or before you fight Horalu that if you've done everything right, Nefeli Lu does move into Stormvale and sit on the throne.
Yeah, because when I didn't give her the potion, I thought I did. I was like, oh yeah, I totally gave it to her. And you guys told me about that I could actually have a good ending. Because I had just vegetabled my boy at that point, and I was looking for a new friend. I have to go back and see that then, because I went immediately. I was still early in the game, and she wasn't there.
Yeah, she has one of the good endings. Potential, like a good ending for a character.
Yeah. That's Elden Ring 2, where she's all grafted out the yin-yang and just, like, looking for a fight.
If there is an Elden Ring 2, I think there will be.
There's got to be, right?
Well, there's a DLC. There doesn't have to be anything.
Yeah, I guess they could just
There's
do
no
another.
Bloodborne 2, no Sekiro 2.
That's true.
Dark Souls is done. Yes, but Kenneth Hyde will be there. Nefeli Liu will be on the throne, and Gostok will be there as well. You get, I think, like a somber ancient dragon smithing stone, or you get a few like good items there. If you do this, she'll show up later for a fight with Horalu, which is kind of cool. But Gideon was a critic, and Dolores the Sleeping Arrow was a critic and friend of Gideon. So he did have friends, apparently. And Dolores the Sleeping Arrow is one of, not Selen, the dickhead with Ronnie, sorcerer.
Sevelus?
Seluvis.
I don't remember.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Dug deep.
Yeah. He used to be, they all used to kind of be friends, but as soon as Seluvis made her into a creepy puppet, that's when Gideon's like, all right, you took my friend and made her into a sex puppet. We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, I got to draw the line somewhere.
He drew the line, and he doesn't draw the line with anything because he wants people to be spying for him.
Yeah. He's like, you're untrustworthy, you turned my friend into a puppet, and you never once paid for drugs.
Not once. And you never paid for drugs. Yes. One of the lines that Gideon says is, are you really going to do the bidding of that twisted dolly botherer? Which I think is a very funny way of saying that dude fucks dolls.
Yeah.
That twisted dolly botherer.
Twisted dolly botherer. Yeah. He's saying he fucks dolls.
He's bothering them dolls.
Yeah.
He sends his men to... I send my men. This is me, but I'm doing it from the third person for the listener's sake. He sends his men to ransack the village of the Albanarks to find the secret medallion to the Erdtree. This task led to the slaughtering of Lieutenant Wolf Lobo. All of this to say, Gideon, I don't have a great track record of being a good father or a good friend or a great leader. But he tells you to go ahead and take no heed of cardinal sin. The Two Fingers have lost their purpose a long time ago. And at some point, he engaged in a long exchange with the Two Fingers. We don't know when this happened. It's one of those things where I think it happened later, but it's, speculation. He learned that everything, including the Erdtree and the Two Fingers, had been broken. He glimpsed into the will of Queen Marika the Eternal, shuddered in fear at an end that should not be. He concluded that the Queen wished for the Tarnished to struggle eternally. So he essentially had a long night of drinking and talking with two hairy wigglers that can't talk back. Or maybe this is more of a mushroom trip, it sounds like, where your convictions change extremely and suddenly.
Yes.
He decided that it's Marika's will that nobody gets inside the Erdtree, that we are meant to struggle forever, potentially. I don't know. Maybe he also just wanted to get the credit for himself and run in there. I've seen there's going to be a lot of speculation for everything.
I lean to the fact that I think he wanted to be the Elden Lord. Like, he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the starting quarterback.
It's a shame that if you who did all the work just dropped everything and died in front of me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets the credit.
Yeah.
Yep. He commends your spirit, but alas, none shall take the throne. Queen Marika has high hopes for us that we continue to struggle. Yeah, but perhaps he's a coward.
That's not high hopes. Continuing to struggle, that's not high hopes.
The status quo is not going well.
No, you should actively look to change that. You shouldn't struggle. You should try to have a better life.
Yeah. Try a little bit.
Yeah, that would suck.
I put, perhaps he is just a coward, unable to competently fight. He lets you do the hard work. Perhaps he realizes the Tarnished being an Elder Lord would be a worse fate for everybody. Perhaps he learns that Marika's machinations in the entire plot of the game. He has become disenfranchised and manipulated. He doesn't want the Tarnished to destroy the Greater Rill. Either way, Gideon is upset and he wants to kill you.
Yeah. Well, maybe he saw, the vision that he saw, the ending that could not be, or whatever you just said.
Yeah.
What if it was you coming? So he's got to kill you. That's why he's waiting around. He's like, I can't die yet. I got to survive long enough to kill this fucker that's going to show up one day. And then I'll have all the shit that I need. I can tuck it away. We can continue to suffer.
Even though that Gideon, we have never seen him fight at all. He's convinced that he is like one of the only things that can stop you, and you must be stopped.
I mean, he's formidable, but it's also like an ego thing.
Pretty cool. Based on the shard bearers you've defeated, Gideon will gain access to a variety of spells.
No shit.
Yep. So the more demigods you've defeated, the more spells he has. Like if you defeat Melania, he has Scarlet Aeonia. If you defeat Moog, he has Blood Boon. So you'll see him use a lot of the different skills from the bosses we have fought.
That's cool too, because in canon he knows, like, he can give you information on all the shard bearers right at the beginning of the game, like, so you should go after. It's like, it's almost like he's studied them a whole bunch and he knows like their patterns and like what spells they're going to use.
Yeah.
It just makes sense for his character to be able to do that.
Did you have any issues fighting him?
Yeah, a whole bunch.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a lot. It sucked. I got it a little bit spoiled for me in one of the videos I was watching that you fight Gideon. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of a bummer because that would have been a nice surprise. But I don't attack fast enough to break his spells.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because you're using spells.
Yeah.
Instead of just stabbing him with a stick.
Well, I have Moonglow, and like that helped because that unsheathed Moonveil, God.
Moonglow is a local Milwaukee band that is fantastic.
I was listening to him last night.
Yeah, they're very good.
I have Moonveil, and the unsheath attack, the magic one where you can go overhead or to the left, is fast enough to hit him, but I had such a fucking hard time with Gideon.
Yeah. Extremely weak against madness. Inescapable Frenzy can kill him in one hit with some buffs.
No shit.
Yeah, this dude, he's just on the brink of having a complete mental breakdown from all of the knowledge he has. So all it takes is like one little bit of madness on him, and he just loses it.
Like, that suit of armor makes your butt look fat, and then he just collapses.
Gideon does not have a fat butt. That dude has no butt. Yeah. We don't see what he looks like under there, but I have a feeling he's very pale and very frail.
It's just Chris Pratt.
Early Chris Pratt.
Yeah, early Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Not Jurassic World Chris Pratt.
No, Parks and Rec.
He's Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is underneath there.
He drops the Scepter of the All-Knowing, which is a hammer. Scepter in the form of a hand grasping a pearl. The pearl stands for the world, heavens, and an eye, representing the many forms of knowledge never fully attainable. He's kind of up his own ass.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
He always has been, though.
He always has been.
Yeah.
Even after knowing that, Gideon's hand grasped for it to fight, knowing that knowledge would never be fully attainable. He just seems like a tryhard. Like, Socrates just walked around in a robe and just talked mad shit, and he was cool about it. Like, Gideon just seems like he shows up at a party and wants to describe like modern philosophy, and I was like, we're just hanging out. We're just having fun, man.
I just asked you for a beer. Yeah, but we're going to talk about existentialism now.
Yeah. It's like, oh, fucking Gideon. He's doing it again. He's not invited next time.
Honestly, it's just an Epicurean philosophy. They say that in that 1975 song, so I Googled it. I looked it up. Do you want to know what it means?
Do you know why I have ears on my belt? It ain't Ed Gein. Those are nipples. This has a unique skill, knowledge above all. Raise the scepter to manifest the realm of the all-knowing. Enemy magic and holy damage negation will be reduced for everybody. Yeah, it's just... I mean, if it hurts you as much as them, as long as you have a plan. His all-knowing set of armor, set with countless eyes and ears. Knowledge begins with the recognition of one's own ignorance. The realization that the search for knowledge is unending, but so essentially, true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing.
Yep.
Bill and Ted.
Was that them that coined that phrase? I thought it was somebody in
Socrates
history.
Johnson.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yes.
Yep.
But when Gideon glimpsed in the will of Queen Marika, he shuddered in fear at the end that should not be. A tarnished cannot become Elden Lord, and a man cannot kill a god. But go to bed, Gideon. You've had enough. You've read enough for today.
Yeah.
Luckily, I survived and ran off to record this podcast later on. Yes, it's been a great time in the lands between. Thanks for listening to this podcast. There's not a lot of other podcasts out here. Do not listen to the Volcano Manor show. It's full of lies.
And just production's bad.
The production's bad. They're lizards.
There's a lot of hissing, and the mic picks it up just too much.
We won't talk about podcasts in the lands between. I'm just thinking, though, which one would be the most interesting? Kenneth Haidt. I would listen to a Kenneth Haidt show. He would be...
That would be pretty good.
He would run a news show, and it would just be incredibly biased.
Yeah, because you could... Well, I'm trying to think, like, the Ben Kissel would be Alexander Iron Fist.
Yep.
Naturally. I don't know who's Henry Zabrowski would be, but there's got to be a way I could make the last podcast.
But Marcus Sparks could be Gideon.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Patches.
Patches?
Patches. Henry could be Patches.
Yeah. That's a good Zabrowski, to be honest.
Because he's wily. You never know what he's going to do.
He just loves talking shit and fucking with people.
Yes.
You get past Gideon, and you get into Marika's bedroom, which it's called Marika's bedchamber. It is where she slept, and it's just I didn't realize before. I mean, there's a giant like light that comes in, so it's like the skies can look down in there, and her bed is one of those like half crescent stone things that you kind of see at various spots for sorcerers, or sorcerers. It's to help commune with the stars, with the sky. It's a stone bed, which doesn't look great.
It's supposed to be really good for your lumbar, though.
Oh, with lumbar?
Yeah. Laying on something stiff is supposed to be good for your back.
Yeah. I've slept. Some of the worst places I've ever slept was the best my back has ever felt. It's weird. In Marika's bedroom, though, you can get the incantation Erdtree Heal, one of the ancient Erdtree incantations, and heals a vast amount of HP for caster and nearby allies. Hold to continue praying. The Erdtree once flourished with abundance, yet it was only for a fleeting moment. Such is the course of all life. It can heal late-game Crucible Knights, even if they're your enemies. So this is it's a weird note, but don't use this around Crucible Knights if you've been using it.
So it doesn't make them friendly. It just makes your torturous fight go on longer.
It just works for them. Yeah. They're just associated enough with the Erdtree.
Could you imagine if they just put their sword down and they were like, thank you?
I realized the error of my ways. Yeah. I am going to be a friend from now on. Instead, they just killed me. They killed me a lot. Tyler, did you beat the game yet?
No.
How far did you get?
I am currently fighting Horlu.
Oh, you didn't get past Godfrey. Oh, okay. That's understandable. Godfrey is a mean motherfucker.
Yep. The cool thing is, well, it's one of those games that I'm not mad that has been spoiled for me because I needed the help. I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for all of the people that I looked up and cheesed from YouTube. You
are going to have a nice little fight with the Elden Beast and Radagon when you get there.
I heard the Elden Beast is not as bad as you would think.
They might have lied to you. It's depending on your build. My first time through the game, one of the, not many attempts. This second time, the Elden Beast was a not fun boss for me. I got spanked many times.
Really?
Yep. But it's about, well, we'll get to the Elden Beast. But first, we're going to run in to the throne area right in front of the Erdtree. And let's talk a little bit about Godfrey. The first Elden Lord for the Golden Order, the former consort of Queen Marika the Eternal, father to Godwyn the Golden, Morgott, and Mohg. One quarterback and two hunchbacks in Notre Dame. Well, and Morgott's a good guy. I'd hang out with Morgott.
Morgott's a little misunderstood.
Yeah, he's still like a little too fervent for the wrong things, but...
Dude, Thanksgiving must have been crazy at their place.
Yeah. And they had all of them together. Like the fact that there's a circle of thrones here means that all of our demigods at some point sat together and hung out.
I would love if they ever did like a, you know how like they do the Castlevania Netflix anime. Mm-hmm. They did an Elden Ring one from like way before.
Yeah,
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, Moog would be an edgelord. Yeah, I don't know. Morgott and Moog, they probably didn't get to come to all the meetings, but
no, and they probably didn't get along too much.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see them when they were all on more speaking terms and cordial with each other.
Yeah.
Yep, because Mama and Papa were still around to say, shut up. Yeah. I have the Elden Ring, so we can kill you.
Yeah.
Yes. Originally known as Horaloo, that was Godfrey's birth name when he came from the Badlands. He was a chieftain out there, bloodthirsty warrior. When he vowed to become a lord, he grafted on his back the lion Sarash, the lord of beasts, to suppress his ceaseless lust for battle. I don't know why. Grafting a lion to your back that just constantly bites you helps you stop fighting.
When you're a god, you really got to look elsewhere for entertainment and just for fun.
He just loves pain.
Yes, probably. He also is, in my opinion, my very humble opinion, the coolest character model in the game.
I love him. He's a professional wrestler for some reason. Yes. He is also one of the only bosses that like has a respect and admiration for you.
Yeah, I mean, he made it all the way here.
And yeah, so Godfrey, he has a lion on his back. He led the war against the giants, truly starting the age of the Erdtree. So when Marika and the Greater Will were, getting all their ducks in an order, they had to get the rest of the continent to bend the knee. And that's what Godfrey was for. I'm not saying she was only banging Godfrey because that dude was a giant monster man with a lion on his back and able to just Zangief pile drive giants. That was a good perk.
Yeah, it's a wow factor.
Yeah. I mean, I love my wife, but if she could also do giant pile driver moves on enemies, I might love her even more. I think Carly said that she can do that. And she's going to do it to me later. So he led the war against the giants. He faced the Stormlord alone at Stormvale. The Stormlord is a person we don't know a lot about, but they were associated with hawks. Godric moved into his castle and said, I am the Lord. It's like, fuck you. But the Stormlord was fought alone at Stormvale by Godfrey. During the siege of Castle Morn, he bested a hero in a one-on-one battle, and when his last enemy had fell, the hue of Godfrey's eyes faded, grace was lost. He and his warriors were addressed by Queen Marika, who informed them that she had taken their grace. As soon as you won the battle, the war, she's like, yeah, you're done. Get the fuck out of here. You know, that whole being reborn all the time? Sorry. Get out.
Not for you.
Everybody that has the guidance of grace, please step forward. Oh, wait, not you. And yeah, after the long march, the Tarnished came to an end. He divested himself of kingship, and him and his kinfolk left the lands between. He was a simple warrior once more. Nefelilu seems to be related to Godfrey. Parallels to Heracles with physical abilities and trials. Parallels to King Arthur, legendary king of a lost age, prophesied to one day return, and the Roundtable, Crucible Knights.
Yeah.
Yep. The Godfrey who we fought earlier, the Golden Godfrey in the Spirit version, had a full two-sided axe. So this is Godfrey before he left. And broke his axe somewhere out there in the wildlands, in the Badlands. Something broke Godfrey's ass. Someone broke his ass and killed him.
It was a rune bear.
It was just a great rune bear, not even a greater.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could say that with total confidence.
It was most definitely a rune bear.
Could you imagine if he had a fucking rune bear grafted to his back?
That was the only mistake he ever made.
Yeah.
Is not having a rune bear grafted.
There's not a single fucking lion that I fought.
Dude, That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I would, if they had done that, then no one would have beaten the game.
Yeah. It's just rude bears all the way down.
Oh man. That'd be like the mod that would kill, like break people. It's like every enemy is a greater rune bear.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's one mod that every enemy is millennia.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And that's just wild.
That's just the world that Let Me Solo Her wants to live in.
Yep. I've tried reaching out to let me solo her. They have not gotten back to me. We want to hang out, dude. Yes, Beast Regent Sarash, leader of the Beastmen Society. Godfrey's axe is seemingly made by the Beastmen from Far Missoula. You can have 2 NPC summons available for this battle, which you wouldn't be able to have either of these, I doubt. Nefeli Lu, if you finish your quest line, get her to the throne, she can come in. Or Shabriri, if you've had 3 finger hugs.
Ooh.
Do you still have the taint of the Flame of Frenzy?
Yeah.
You should be able to summon Shabriri out there, unless you killed Shabriri on the mountaintops.
I don't think I did.
When he's possessed your homie?
Yeah, I don't think I did.
Okay.
No, I did.
Then
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. We walk in, and Godfrey is picking up Morgoth's little corpse, and he says, "It's been a long while, Morgoth, long and hard didst thou fight." It's like, I have a feeling that Godfrey was way cooler with Morgoth and Moog than Marika was. He probably was one who snuck him down little toys into the sewers. He's like, I'm not going to say you're a good dad, but it's nice that you cared a little bit.
In terms of dads in Elden Ring, he's doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good. And he says, Tarnished warrior, spurred by the grace of gold, be assured the Elden Ring resteth close at hand. Alas, I am returned to be granted audience once more. He's there he wants to go get the Elden Ring and finish the game himself. Clearly he's worthy if he's gotten to the front gate.
Yeah.
And the battle is on. And the first half of the battle, we fight Godfrey, first Elden Lord. And do you have more trouble with the first half of the fight? Have you gotten to the second half?
Yeah. I've only gotten to the second like 2 or 3 times. I've only fought him a handful because Gideon took a lot of my time.
Surprising.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works. Sometimes certain enemies are the bane of someone's existence and they're easy for others.
Yeah, well, I heard Gideon, like once I found out I was going to fight Gideon, I didn't think he was going to be too tough. Plus, one of the videos I watched, the guy murked him. And I was like, oh, that looks easy. I can do that.
The trick is to suffocate Gideon. Get in close and just...
Yeah, and I'm ranged mostly.
Yeah, there's a great meme.
With my spell sword.
Gideon is all-knowing and super wise. Tries to drink empty flasks like throughout the entire battle. It's like, it's empty, bro.
Yeah, no more in there.
Nothing in there. Halfway through the battle, he says, that will be all. Thou didst me good service, Sarash, and he rips the lion off of his back. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Super heavy metal.
And then he just goes like, he gets the wrestling stance, covered in blood. And this guy scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does wrestling moves. Super aggressive. But you take him down. Hopefully you have a nice Spirit Ash, and you summoned maybe Shabriri to come in there. But after the fight, Horlu says, brave Tarnished, thy strength befits a crown. He's like, yeah, you're pretty cool. You've earned it. I like you. No anger. It's nice having an enemy that just kind of like, good on you.
Good game.
Good game. GG.
Yep.
The Remembrance of Horlu, you can get the Axe of Godfrey, which is broken in a battle fought as leader of the Tarnished during the Long March. This is something out there in the Badlands broke it, which makes me want to go to the Badlands. You can also get the Ash of War, Hora's Loo Shaker, Horalu's Earth Shaker. Slam both hands onto the ground to violently shake the earth and unleash a shockwave. Follow up with an additional input to slam the ground once again. Big stance damage, usable on all melee armaments. Ennia's Corpse still sells armor. You can go get his armor if you want. Talks a little bit about his history. The crown includes his hair, which is weird. Which makes me think Godfrey's bald. Because if his crown comes with a toupee...
They could... that I never thought about that.
Why is the hair included on the crown?
Yeah, you're not like scalping him.
I think it's okay to be bald. A lot of people look great bald. I think though that the fact that there's a toupee included, Godfrey is in bald denial.
It's like the visor that was really popular when I was in middle school that had like the spiky hair in it.
Oh God,
Remember those?
yeah.
It was a hat, but it looked like a visor with spiky blonde hair.
But they were meant to look stupid.
Yeah, now they're just worn by like people who want to go as Guy Fieri for Halloween.
That's the whole purpose now.
That is the only market for those.
And there's a market for them.
There is. I've seen multiple bachelorette parties where all of the girls are dressed up as Guy Fieri.
I don't know why.
He's got a one-way ticket to Flavortown, and they know it.
I was trying to help come up with a bachelorette party idea. It didn't get accepted, but Batch to the Future.
That's perfect.
You can start dressed off in like 80s, then you can do 60s, futuristic, Old West. Someone's dressed as Doc Brown.
That's a great idea.
It's kind of cool, right? You go to like a Country West bar, you go to like some weird like sci-fi bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And it allows for costume changes if you really want to get crazy with it.
You can yell Great Scott all night, which is just a good thing to yell.
Yeah.
I wonder if Great Scott, was that originated by Christopher Lloyd?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, for me, yeah, because that's probably the first time I heard it. Dude, if you could rent a DeLorean, all right, yeah, that's a good idea.
We've seen DeLoreans.
I've seen,
Never ridden in one, but definitely seen them. Marika.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Gonna be the Elden Ring and save the fucking day, yeah. Teaming up with Ronnie to get my children killed, yeah. Totally regret it, and now I'm crucified and hanging up inside of a tree, yeah.
Yeah, boom.
That's her lore.
Yeah. Dude, that was good.
She was originally born of the Newman people. She was an Empyrean who would ascend to godhood and become the vessel, carrier of the vision of the Elden Ring. As an Empyrean, she was gifted a shadow, her half-brother Malekith. Desiring a world free of destined death, the rune of death was removed from the Elden Ring. Malekith was there to protect it, sealed in his black blade. No one can have their destined death in Elden Ring. Death is possible, but only by those wielding it. No one's dying anymore. We mentioned Godfrey, her first consort. Godfrey reigned the lands between into the Golden Order. They had 3 children, and then Godfrey was banished, all in the hope that they would grow stronger by waging war outside the lands and be brought back in when their grace was returned. This was part of Marika's long-term plan. She wanted them to go get stronger and go out there so they could come back at another time. So she was playing the long game there. Radagon is an interesting enigma in the game. Marika was interested in exploring the depths of the Golden Order. Radagon became her second husband and king consort, making him the second Elden Lord. But in truth, Radagon and Marika were one and the same. Radagon was Marika's male other self. So, the way the battle goes, Marika is hung up and just body is half destroyed, but she falls and then Radagon gets up. So it seems like they share the body, which just opens up, a can of worms. Were the bodies ever split up? Because Radagon was off marrying Rennala. Was Marika there too, just absent from the capital? Were they actually separate? Did they be at some point fuse into one?
Yeah, I think for me, the way that it would be coolest is if at a certain point they fused into one.
Or he was taken from her rib or something, and they are one being, but they were split off, but they can refuse.
And they're like 2 separate. Yeah.
I think this is one of the most least spelled out mysteries in the game. I believe, though, that Radagon began in Marika. And you see that the Elden Ring is inside of her. She's the vessel carrying the ring. I think maybe just a part of having an entire code of physics and laws of the world and religion inside of you. Maybe you just all of a sudden can grow a person, but
it's like it's God. It's just God bullshit. It's whatever they can do.
It's some religion, philosophy bullshit.
Yeah.
In the best way. Radagon has red hair and believes it's like a curse from the fire giants. He hates being associated with it. So maybe something that happened there caused this to happen. But Radagon rose to prominence in the Liurnian Wars, where he had met Queen Ronnala in battle. They made whoopee whoopee instead of killy killy.
Hey.
Yep. They, much like bonobos, sent their leaders out to copulate in the battlefield. That's how bonobo chimps settle their wars. They just have sex in front of the tribes.
It's asserting dominance.
I remember being a kid in high school like, whoa, dude, what are we learning today? Shit's wild, bro. They what? And everyone's like, all right, we're done fighting. They had 3 children, Radagon, Rykard, and Rani. Soon after, Godfrey got yeeted, and Radagon moved into his old bedroom. Before leaving Ronnala, he's like, I gotta go. Here's an egg. How about an egg for your trying times?
Can I offer you an egg in these trying times?
Ronnala's a sad character. She just clutches the egg and just constantly spews out mindless school children.
Yeah.
True horror. One of the most off-putting areas in the game.
She does have her first phase where those little fuckers are just crawling straight towards you is terrifying.
Just grabbing your feet.
Yeah, throwing books at you.
Oh, God, get off of me. Yeah, but as soon as Godfrey's gone, Radagon's like, yep, bye. So it seemed, I don't know, maybe Radagon was just doing the long con with Ronnala and pretending to love her to bring Liurnia to heel because they weren't winning in the battles. That's possible, but, or maybe he did love her. Either way, as soon as Godfrey was gone, he's like, yeah, I'm out. Children with Marika, he went and fucked himself. He was watching Succession and took it seriously.
He went and fucked himself.
Had Millennia and Mikola, who, due to being incest children, maybe that's why, but one of them is cursed with scarlet rot, and the other one is cursed to always be a child.
Not great, but definitely makes sense because I've played a lot of Crusader Kings, and if you do too much incest, then your kids come out with club feet and shit. So, makes sense.
Yeah.
It tracks. It could be.
Got to keep those bloodlines pure.
Yeah. No, I think you could be right there.
Radagon, we don't know a lot about him personal-wise. Like, we know that he studied both incantations and was interested in the sorceries when he was with Ronnala. Practiced Golden Order fundamentalism, which incorporates both faith and intelligence. That's a lot of what we know. Him and Mikola were close for a while, but Mikola his goal was to cure Millennia. So as soon as he found out the Golden Order fundamentalism couldn't help with that, he went off to do his own thing. The Night of the Black Knives happens. Rani orchestrates the theft of a fragment of the Rune of Death. Godwin's caught in the crossfire. His soul is killed while her body is destroyed, resulting in fishmen, those who live in death, and Rani's quest. The first recorded death of a demigod in history. Speculation, Marika was said to have betrayed Malekith. Perhaps she wanted to expel the greater will from the lands between and set the stage for the Tarnished to rise. Godwin's death seems to have been a miscalculation, though, because it shattered her. I think she really didn't want that to happen, but I don't know what she thought was going to happen.
Just an oopsie.
Yep. So she used her hammer and shattered the Elden Ring. And then she instructed her demigod children to fight for the position of Elden Lord and Godhood. She wanted the shattering to happen. She wanted everyone to go to town. Radagon stuck with the Golden Order and used that same hammer to try and repair the Elden Ring, but at this point the runes are across the lands between. Wars are fought between the demigods. Marika was imprisoned inside the Erdtree, which, it's tough when you want to imprison someone, but you are also physically that same person.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to put yourself in timeout.
Conjoined twins. If one's guilty of murder, does the other one go to prison?
That's fucked. I never thought about that.
I don't know if it's ever happened. I know there was one case where identical twins, one of them committed like a serious crime, but they found the DNA and they couldn't decide who did it. They had the same DNA.
Yeah.
So they couldn't convict someone. They both got to go free. Because you can't prove which it was one or the other.
Yeah.
Sadly, though, when Marika becomes imprisoned, Radagon is also imprisoned. The shattered bodies share prison sentence. The shared bodies share prison sentences. Grace was returned to Godfrey and the Tarnished. They rose from their graves because all the Tarnished were dead. Gideon was dead. Goldmask was dead. Fia, all of them. But they rose from their graves. The Roundtable hold was formed, and Hugh was assigned blacksmith here to forge a weapon that could slay a god. Now, into the weird reasons things are the way they are. I came upon a term called the rebis, an alchemical concept and the end product of the great work of alchemy. Described as the perfect being within alchemy, supposed to maintain balance in creation by all means necessary, born from the union of the Red King and the White Queen. Very much Radagon. Marika, they're known as a divine hermaphrodite, one being both sides of the same sex.
Yeah.
It seems like Martin was influenced by this. This seems like it was a Martin thing, and maybe both of them were involved, but since
It's a rad idea is what it is.
yeah.
Radagon, get it? Like what I did there?
Whoa. Seeing Radagon.
Damn, that was good. No, I think I agree. It definitely sounds like a George R.R. Martin thing, but anybody he would have pitched this idea to, they'd be stupid not to take it, because it's a nice little twist at the end of the game if you haven't already picked up on it through items and talking to people.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking cool concept.
Well, and it's one of the ways that Martin does a lot of his things, like take this famous religion and change the name to a GRRM and print it.
Yep. Money in the bank.
We're not going to call it the Red King and the White Queen. We're going to call them George and Martin.
George and Martin.
But yes, this was a single being possessing both male and female qualities. When the separate qualities are unified, once again, they form a transcendental being empowered by a dragon, the Elden Beast.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of symbolism happening there. We enter the room. Marika's body is hung up. She's missing half of it. She falls down, and then Radagon gets up. Hair turns red. The Elden Ring is visible inside Radagon's body. He is immune to blood loss, highly resistant to holy damage. Poison and rot are A-okay. But Radagon, pretty aggressive fight, likes to be up in the air. Spirit Ashes to distract him are a good thing. But yeah, same hammer that broke the Elden Ring is the weapon he'll be using against you. Radagon is... I didn't have a ton of issue with Radagon. After you get the swing of things, you'll get through it pretty quick. You haven't gotten there yet.
Close.
But after you defeat Radagon, the Elden Beast. So, we don't know a ton about Elden Beast. Long ago, the Greater Will sent a golden star bearing a beast into the lands between, which would later become the Elden Ring. The beast is the Elden Ring. The beast is... probably what came on that star, was the vassal beast of the Greater Will, living incarnation of the concept of order. Found a YouTube comment that I thought was nice from Doty's Watch Bobobo. Look, it's a winged space amoeba tree dolphin. I don't understand why you're having so much trouble with this concept.
Well, when you put it like that.
Well, you know, it is. I mean, you can... There's a thing that we do in the lore community where it'll have one sentence which is like straightforward and everyone's like, I'm going to write 30 paragraphs about this. And essentially, you're going to get to kind of where you started in the end anyways. You're going to make that full circle. It is, yes, it's a winged space amoeba tree dolphin. Immune to blood loss, highly resistant to holy damage, no poison, no rot.
Magic?
You want some distant magic, but don't be doing any holy damage.
Okay.
I think frostbite's good. You want to stay as close as you can, but the Elden Beast does just transport all around the map. A lot of ranged attacks.
I'm just going to glintstone pebble his ass.
Just pebble him to death. David and Goliath.
Yeah. It worked once. It could work again.
Could work again. I've heard Black Knife Tish is a really great Spirit Ash for this. Plus, they were there to,
kick things off.
To kill gods anyways.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
Welcome back to the show.
Elden Beast, you take him down. You get the Elden Remembrance. You can get Marika's Hammer. This is the stone hammer made in the lands of the Newman. Tool with which Queen Marika shattered the Elden Ring, and Radagon attempted to repair it. Unique skill Goldbreaker, where you can use Radagon's signature attack, jump up in the air and slam it down. You can also get the Great Sword, the Sacred Relic Sword. Now, this, when the Elden Beast emerges from Radagon's body, and then the sword is pulled out of Radagon's body, and it's like made out of a spine, so it looks like it might be Radagon's spine, but this is the Sacred Relic Sword is wrought from the remains of a god who should have lived a life eternal. Is this Godwin? Is this Radagon? Thoughts on what the weapon portends are many and varied. Some consider it to be the mark of a great sin or a sign of great devastation. Some think of it as the end of an age, while others the beginning, depending on your ending preference. And yeah, upon reaching Mogwin Palace, this is a weird note. Using this weapon, one can fast travel to the Palace Approach Ledge Road Site of Grace. Use the Wave of Gold skill weapon on this weapon to farm Albinaurix. You can get about 6 million runes per hour with the Golden Scarab Talisman. 6 million? Yep. Because this just sends like a giant, just takes all of them out. With a Golden Scarab Talisman, yeah, you can get about 6 million runes per hour. When the note was made, I don't know if it's changed since then, but
they've had to. Well, I mean, at this point, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I went and farmed there before, but not for the Albinaurix. You used to be able to do a pot shot at like one of the bird dogs, the giant birds, and it just jumps off the map and gives you some easy runes.
Nice.
That they've gotten mostly out. So yeah, it's one of the farming spots. At this point, though, I mean, we didn't talk kind of about the battlefield. You're inside the Erdtree, but you're standing on, you can see like, when you cut a tree open, you see the concentric circles on the way out. Yeah. That's kind of what you're standing. But there is all around you, it looks kind of like outer space, galaxy. And it seems like there's other like tree ghosts, spirits all around.
It is a cool arena. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure if these are all Erdtrees from different planets. Some people have speculated that. Again, they don't want to write down the answer. And we're going to talk about that here with the endings. But it's, especially when we get to the episode where we talk about Miyazaki and Martin's like lives and their themes and histories, they don't ever want to say, this is what happened. They want to say, something happened. What do you think?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what do you think? It's essentially like whatever your interpretation is what is happening. Elden Beast is down. At this point, you are standing there in the battlefield, and you have to make a decision here. Also, this is where you change whatever armor you were wearing to whatever armor you want to wear on your final cinematic, because I'm not going to beat someone wearing my party boy outfit, but I might want to sit on that throne with my butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get to choose what you do. Age of the Stars, you can do all of the different Age of Fractures, whatever. If you have the Frenzied Flame, though, that's what you're doing. The Tarnished Champion defeats Radagon and the Elden Beast. Marika's body is split in two, missing a head and most of the left half. Most endings depict the Tarnished placing Marika's head back on her body, essentially becoming Marika's new consort and Elden Lord, potentially. Marika most likely remains unresponsive with the Elden Ring shining brightly in her body. She's probably just like a little Bach vegetable with the Elden Ring inside of her. Maybe, maybe not. That's what it seems to be. Most of the ages involve keeping the Elden Ring, maybe subtly changing aspects of how the world works, but it seems like you just put her head back on and she remains what she is, and you lead as Elden Lord with her kind of just being the Elden Ring. Maybe. Possibly. The Age of Fracture is the default ending. Continuation of the status quo. It doesn't seem like much changes at all, other than you are now the Elden Lord and you've brought, I mean, maybe you're a great leader. Maybe you bring things to heal. What kind of leader would you be?
I'd be a great leader.
What was the first thing you do with the Lands Between if you were in charge?
I bring back Casual Fridays immediately.
Yeah.
You know, give the people something that they want. I'd also probably start throwing more games in the Coliseum. I'd probably end up being a terrible leader now that I think about it.
Well, I mean, the people need to be entertained. And until you can make a Netflix series, you're going to have to be killing people.
Yeah. Probably hold like grafting competitions too to be like, look how gross that guy is. That's funny.
Yeah. At this point, you've gotten rid of most of the demigods, and you've proven that you can just walk into any place and beat the shit out of people.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that I died like a whole bunch on the way here, but
when you're in charge of the Elden Ring, you can also make it so you can't die.
Yeah, that's true.
If you wanted. The Age of Fracture continues the status quo. You mend the Elden Ring, restore order to the Lands Between. Marika is seemingly still imprisoned, and it seems like the Erdtree is on fire. The Age of the Duskborn. This was Fia and Godwin, big old fish man. You use the mending rune of the Death Prince. Those who live in death, those that refuse to have their spirits go back into the Erdtree, I believe their souls are just lost and they're just wandering around bodies. No longer will be prosecuted in this scenario. The Lands Between are engulfed in a harrowing fog, and the principle of life within death is embedded into the order, ridding the world of immortality and allowing the natural cycle of life and death to occur for all people and creatures. Maybe. This is another one where it's interpretation, and different translations say different things about this too. Some people speculate that this is just death returning and being possible. Some interpret it as you can be those who live in death and you're no longer allowed to make mean comments about them on the internet. They're essentially just part, like you can live in death and that's part of the order. It's either of those things. Death is back, baby.
And better than ever.
This seems like a good ending. Essentially, it's a lot of the status quo, but less persecution, and people are allowed to like die their own ways or live in death. Kind of, that's what I get.
Yeah, let them.
But again, I went down so many rabbit holes, and there's so many people saying 100% this is what it means, and the only answer I came up with is that nobody is 100%. Well, nobody's right. It's up to interpretation. Especially when you start going into Brazilian translations, you're fucked. Like,
oh my God.
Yep, you're just having too much fun looking into it. The Age of Order, I do like this one. Use the mending rune of perfect order, the Goldmask one, to restore the Lands Between. Essentially, religion is a good force on the planet. It's the gods that are bad.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're just kind of maintaining religion, but you're kicking all the gods out of it. Religion good, gods bad. Pure, uncorrupted version of the Golden Order. No outer god influence. I think that's a good ending.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer it if I don't like the status quo. I don't like that people are wandering around as zombie people in general.
You got to make some changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think kicking the gods out and just being like, religion's fine.
We're getting better lunches for schools.
Yes.
Never free, though. It's going to ruin people if kids can eat.
God forbid a second grader.
God. You're going to be hungry. You're going to fucking hate it. And then when you don't vote for us, we're going to be very confused about that.
When I didn't have money to pay for my lunch when I was in like middle school, high school, like, because I had two brothers and we shared an account. So every now and again, it would hit zero and they'd be like, you don't have any money. And then I'd call my mom and then she'd be like, shit. And then she'd put more money in. Sometimes they would just give me the free lunch because I found out there was a free lunch. It was an Uncrustable.
Man, it's horrible.
I was like, this isn't a L at all.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but it's not a lunch.
I mean, on days where it was like nasty ass food, I was like, just give me the Uncrustable.
Yeah. Do you have anything in the salad bar?
Do you know people put Uncrustables in the freezer?
Sounds fine. I'm sure you could do that and deep fry them and then call it a state fair food.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The Blessing of Despair. Our boy Dungy, the Dung Boy.
Yeah.
Mr. Poop Eater. Use the mending rune of the fell curse. The lands between are overtaken by a reviled curse. Everyone is an omen. Essentially, if everyone is an omen, then no one's an omen.
If you're looking to shake things up in the lands between, this might be your best bet.
Yeah. I think that I sympathize more with the Dung Eater than almost everybody else in the world. I have a feeling he had a very bad life. And
I mean, nobody who has a good life gets the name the Dung Eater.
some famous people on the internet, probably. But omens shouldn't be persecuted. I also don't think everyone should be omens.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
Controversial opinion.
I wouldn't choose that. This is the ending that I would want to choose because it is wildly different, but I don't think I ever would.
Now the two bigger endings, the two more substantial endings, the Lord of the Frenzied Flame, everything burns. Your head turns into a giant like fireball with like a black hole at the center, and like the tree is getting swallowed, the sky's on fire. Essentially, I mean, everything will return to chaos. It's just going back to the Big Bang. It's before anything. If there is no people, there is no sorrow, which is a famous villain trope from RPGs. I get it.
This is my plan.
This is your plan.
This is my plan.
Also, just because did you beat Placiduous Axe?
Yeah.
You could then get rid of your finger taint if you want.
I want it.
You want that taint.
I want to burn it down.
Yeah. It is cool.
As soon as I found out that this was an option, I was like, that is the most heavy metal fucking ending. And I want it. So
it is.
Yeah.
You are the Lord of Chaos, and the world will burn along with the mistakes of the greater will.
I always wanted to be the Lord of Chaos. 15-year-old me would be so psyched.
It is a good name. All existing sin, torment, fracture, and curse is burned. Things return to a time, much like the Crucible, just burning it all back to the beginning. If you didn't burn Melina, which means you had the Flame of Frenzy taint before you burned yourself instead of Melina and she left, she emerges without the mark on her left eye.
It's open now?
It's open.
Oh, shit, you're fucked.
And she says, Lord of Frenzied Flame, I will seek you as far as you may travel to deliver what is yours, destined death. She's going to hunt you down and find you and destroy you.
That was a Metallica line right there is what that was.
Yeah. Like, I love it.
That is probably one of the coolest lines in the game.
It is a cool ending for sure. Many people would say the good ending is the Age of Stars, partially because it's the longest, most involved quest in the game, partially because it's a four-armed blue woman who everyone's horny for.
Yeah, I think it's the horniness that really motivates a lot of people.
Oh, what a sexy doll. I want to marry her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 4 arms. Whoa.
The possibilities.
She could grab my butts and hold my head. We finished Righteous Gemstones yesterday.
The third season kind of is a fart at the end, in my opinion.
I'll just say Keith and Adam Devine's character. What's the Kelvin. Calvin and Keith's massage scene is the funniest thing I've ever seen. So funny. The Age of Stars. You become Rani's consort and help her become a god. Rani bathes the lands between in moonlight and will free souls trapped by the Erdtree.
So you're just a simp in this.
It's the ending that is cool. It's great to have a girlfriend, but it's even better to save the planet.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to have a girlfriend.
Yeah. And one that has 4 arms and
she's blue.
I'm a big fan of Avatar.
Big fan. Jake Sully's so hot. Rani's new order begins, and she departs so the world can go on without a god.
Wait, so you lose your girlfriend then?
You go with her.
Okay.
Maybe.
Possibly.
We don't know.
Yeah, it's up to interpretation.
We don't know. And the translations do not help. The English translation is much different than the Japanese version. In the English one, she says there'll be no more senses. There'll be no sight, hearing, taste. The certainties of experience are gone. And it's just very differently translated than the original version. My understanding from the research is that she makes a new order. People are free to do what they want, free to live how they like. They can die. The world kind of, I mean, it's a post-religious world where the world exists the way it is, and then she departs, so there's no gods influencing it. It's people reconciling with the fact that we live in a cold and meaningless world, which at first is not comforting.
She just gives the gift of cynicism.
It's in a world devoid of meaning, in a cold and harsh life, you must bring your own light, and it's up to you to do what you want, but there's no gods that are controlling it, telling you what to do, and it's just up to the individual to be who they want. Maybe? We don't know. Possibly. The Age of Stars has a lot of interpretations as well. Yeah, I do like that ending, though. You possibly elope with your four-armed girlfriend, and then people can just get on living their lives without being controlled and led by God. Although that just means some shitty Godric asshole will start ruling castles again.
Yeah.
But at least there's no gods about it. And there won't be demigods to be overpowering.
Yeah. So it's just the people running the show then.
Potentially. Yeah. Although we have proven in a post-God world, which we're somewhat in right now, it's not going super well in Marika.
Yeah. It's rough out here.
Shit's not perfect by any means. But we are at the end.
Yeah. We made it.
We made it.
This is the longest I've talked about a single game. And the longest, it's got to be the longest, I've had a single game. Maybe with...
In your disk drive?
Yeah. Installed on my PlayStation. If you count my PlayStation 4, because I ended up jumping over. Civ 6 might be the only one that I've had longer because it's such a small game, like file size, I can just keep it.
This is probably the video game I've played more than any game ever. I looked at my hours between all my characters, and it's a lot.
I was my...
Probably 250 hours, which per dollar is a good deal.
I think I was up to like 160 or something like that with all characters, because I started, at the beginning, I started over like 45 times.
Yeah.
Made different builds and shit. It was my PlayStation wrap-up last year, where they give you like your stats and whatever, like Spotify, if you have the app on your phone.
Yeah.
It was definitely my most played game by a long shot.
Yeah.
By like 80 hours.
Yeah, we're here. We're at the end. That does not mean the end of Elden Dogs for a while. We have a lot to still talk about. Upcoming episodes, the next one, I believe, will be the endgame episode, where we talk about all those bosses that are still running around. We're going to break down the rarest armor and weapons in the game. We're going to talk about New Game Plus, what you're going to want to do to get ready for that. We're going to do an episode about Miyazaki and Martin, talk about their personal lives, talk about the Beauty and the Beast TV show from 1987, which George R. R. Martin wrote.
Looking forward to this.
Starring Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton.
Ron Perlman as the Beast?
Yeah.
That's good.
And we'll be talking about Dark Souls and Armored Core a little bit. We're going to be talking about, once you understand, it's like, when you open a book and it says about the author, and I originally thought that was boring as a kid, but I realized it really informs you, who wrote the story. Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to do a cut content episode. We're going to do a multiplayer / speedrunning episode. Spike Vegeta, I believe, will be joining us for that. And then there will be DLC. Yeah. We don't know when Shadows of the Erdtree is coming. They're smart, though. I have a feeling it will be like coming next week for that's how they'll announce it, I think.
Yeah. I think it'll be sooner rather than later. Because how long ago did they drop the image? It's been, what, like 3 months?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's longer than that. It's been, I want to say 6 months maybe, but time is a construct that I don't understand anymore.
I very rarely keep track of it.
Yeah.
I'm always late to these things.
Yeah. But so there is definitely more Elden Dogs to discuss. I'm actually excited because we can get into the esoteric stuff outside of the main story. There's a little bit more lore to discuss. I do want to discuss the Glow-Eyed Queen at some point because that's like the only thing we haven't really delved into too much.
The Martin Miyazaki episode is going to be dope because I like a good biography. So
I'm excited for that one. Martin,
and I don't know shit about either of those men outside of what they've made.
what it really reminded me is that Martin is fucking old. He's super old. He was at the first Comic-Con. Like, he needs to finish some books.
That was right after World War II, right?
It was before World War I, I think. He's that old. But Elden Dogs exist because of people like you. If you have joined us on this extremely long journey, this wonderful journey, we would really appreciate it if you wrote a review, told your friends. These episodes are available well in advance to our Patreon members. So check out patreon.com/HairTheDogcast, and you would get access to tons of bonus content as well as episodes way in advance. Our Discord is wonderful. Thanks to executive producers Rykard Kristinik, Malekip the Black Blade, Big Boggard, Black Boggard, Brian. I'm trying to do this without the page in front of me. Jordan Hoff of House Hoslow, and Phil. I forget Phil's cool name. The cool guy Phil. Nailed it. Yeah, we're on all the social media tracks.
Is it the Festering
Fingerprint
Yeah.
Phil. Very good.
Nailed
Very
it.
good. Yeah, there's more Elden Ring to talk about, and we will be back. But
Thanks for listening.
thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.